All right, so now we're gonna shift gears. Whoa! Birch, come on. You are a good jumper, I'll give you that.
Numbers with the goats.
Hey, don't you chew on that. Come here. Come here. Come on, over here. Come on. Here. Okay, so we're gonna get to sell side now. I know, you're a busy boy. You're a busy boy. Birch is the boy. He's a boy. He's losing his winter fur, as you can see. All right, and he is the most inquisitive, funny goat. So now we're gonna do sell. You fascinated by that? Hey, don't bite my shirt. All right, Birch, hop down. Okay, so this is a sell side good faith. So that's what the buy side was too. We'll have to put a disclosure on there that it's all just a good faith estimate. It depends on your interest rate. It depends on how much money you make. There's so many different variables to all of it. So on the sell side, the numbers for the sell side when you are talking with an agent, obviously they're going to determine your sales price. Well, the two of you are going to agree for what your asking sales price is going to be, what you're putting the house up for sale for. So whatever that is. You are then going to have to pay, in the state of Pennsylvania, oh, Rosie. Rose is usually real shy. A transfer tax of 1%. You are going to have a list side commission, which we've discussed agency already. So you're a listing agent and you should understand what you're being paid or what you're paying. And then your buy side commission. All of these items are negotiable. So these are things that you talk to your agent about, right? So there's a lot of debate on if a seller, there's goat fur stuck on the marker. If a seller is going to, they're ramming each other, is going to pay the buy side. So again, these are all things you talk to your agent about, what you're willing to do or not willing to do. So then you also have, a deed prep. Deed prep. So this is where, to the title company, if you want them to prepare it, you could have your attorney do it if you so desire. Most people have the deed prepped. Here we go. We're going to reestablish that before Rose takes it out in the back. You have your deed prep. You have you basically have a search, the Patriot Act search, domestics. I'm trying. So that's supposed to say Patriot Act. Hop down, baby. Here, look at this stick. Look at this stick. Look at it. Yeah, go get it. So this is, if you're behind on child support, this is how they get parents who aren't paying for their children when they sell a property. You have to catch up on that. Patriot Act search is they make sure you are able to sell the property. They charge you a little bit of money for that. And you have a tax certification. This is where they get a letter from wherever your property is located or a certification that you actually are current on your taxes and then what amount is actually due for closing. And then you have, you can have final readings. So final water, sewer. You can have, what other fees? So if you're in an HOA, you would have the expense of a resale certification. And then you can have, if there is any other fees, you know, if the office charges a fee, all of that. So this is typically a percentage. So it's all percentages. And, you know, this is usually set amounts. So I usually say to people, you know, now if you are selling in certain counties, they do what's called conveyancing. So for example, in Bucks County and Montgomery County, they want to charge you to get your mortgage payoff and your tax certs. And they usually charge somewhere around $400 to get those items. Now, if you were in Lehigh County, that's part of what the title company does. So it's one of those things where it just depends on where you're at. So you have all of these fees that usually come up, with 400 office fees. A lot of agents, it's, $400, $500 for the brokerage has associated with the transaction. And then you have your percentages. So it all goes off of what the property sells for. So when you get an offer, your agent does all these numbers with you and goes through it. And then when they list the property, they do it off of whatever your asking price is going to be as well. So you should have your good faith numbers with your initial signing of your listing paperwork. And you should also have it when the offers come in, because if an offer comes in lower, an offer comes in higher, it all changes because we're going off of percentages. So a lot of people get nervous about numbers, where numbers have no emotion. Numbers are just numbers. So you look at them and they make sense or they don't. So that's pretty cut and dry with how the numbers work on the list side. We covered the buy side. The only thing on the buy side I did not cover, which hopefully I'm not covered in anything, was the monthly payments. So the monthly payments really have a good bit of variety to it based off of your interest rate. So I'll just write some example of it quick so that people have it. So this is just bothering me anyway. All right, so within a mortgage payment, it depends on your loan type. So if you put 20% down or more, all you have to pay is your principal. So your principal payment is whatever, and then you pay your own taxes. So that means you get a bill for your county municipal, and that is typically April, early in the year. Now that runs on the January 1st through December. That is on the calendar year. And then you have your school taxes in Pennsylvania. This is in PA. School taxes goes off of the fiscal year starts July 1st and runs for the school year, right? So if you have 20% down, you have 80% loan, you have at least 20% equity, you pay, all you do is pay this, and then when you get your tax bills, you pay your own tax bills, right? If you have a loan in which you do not meet that criteria of having enough money down, they are going to do, like we touched on, your payment is going to consist of your principal. So that amount is going to be based off of your interest rate and the amount that you finance in the number of years. So you're going to have your principal amount, and then you're going to have, don't chew that button off. Did he get the button? Then you're going to have your insurance. So that's your property's insurance. That is going to be your 12 months, and it's going to be divided by 12. Hi, baby. Oh, you're getting chubby. And then, so that's going to be part of your monthly payment. So that's just your monthly. And then you're also going to have your taxes. So that's the total amount. So your taxes are both the county and the school. So they tally that together and you pay that monthly. So that's added together and then that's split up into your payment, right? So it's your principal plus the taxes plus the insurance. So if you live in a floodplain, you'll have flood insurance on top of that too. And that's how you get to the total payment. So with that being said, it is one of those things where your interest rate, so your credit score plays a big factor into what interest rate you can get, what the going rate is now too, what if you're FHA, you know, all of the above. Trying to think anything else with the, oh, you do want to make extra payments on your mortgage. If you make a couple extra payments, oh, you got your leg stuck. If you make a couple extra payments, you take years off of your loan. And I'm sure, Anthony, you can pop up a couple different statistics of that. The rule of thumb is to try to make at least 2 principal payments a year, and that can save you 7 years off of the life of your loan. Or you can always do a large, whatever extra money you have at the end of the year, you could throw it in, which is the way a lot of the farm loans are run. But that is the basics of what your payment looks like. Principal, taxes, insurance, all together into one payment. Now when you get your taxes, you send it in, they pay your taxes. And this, your payments can change. Your taxes change, your payments will change. Your principal should not change. You should have a locked in rate. Unless you do like a balloon payment or an interest only loan. But we don't need to get into those complicated things right now. But that has been real estate, working the numbers with the goats.